You're listening to The Signal Daily.
Hello, I'm Manaswini, your host for The Signal Daily podcast. This is the episode for 14th May 2024. In our first story, we are looking at why Bhavish Aggarwal, CEO of Ola Cabs, wants to move away from Microsoft's Azure cloud services. And for our main segment, we dive into India's 10-year deal with Iran to manage Chabahar port. What does India gain from this? Stay tuned till the end to know more. Have you all caught wind of the storm that Bhavish Aggarwal, the CEO of Indian ride-hailing giant Ola, has been stirring up lately? Well, let me fill you in. It all started when LinkedIn introduced the option to add pronouns to user profiles, aiming to create a more inclusive platform. However, Aggarwal was not too pleased with this move. So much so he took to X, formerly Twitter, sharing a screenshot where LinkedIn's AI had referred to him using they or them pronouns. Aggarwal labeled this as a quote-unquote illness promoted by Western companies, accusing LinkedIn of forcing a quote-unquote woke political ideology onto India. This, of course, set off a firestorm with people accusing him of being regressive and insensitive towards the LGBTQ+ community. LinkedIn, on the other hand, though, maintained that the pronoun feature was simply meant to foster an inclusive environment. Interestingly, this controversy coincides with the launch of Ola's recent cloud platform, CrewTrim, which aims to challenge the dominance of Western tech giants like Microsoft and Amazon in the Indian market. Now, following the pronouns gaffe, Aggarwal even announced plans to shift Ola's entire workload from Microsoft's Azure cloud services to CrewTrim within a week, citing concerns about potential cultural impositions by Western tech companies. In his post, he also offered Indian developers a year of free usage on CrewTrim if they switched from Azure and promised to not go back to it as well. And just to give you some context, Aggarwal also heads CrewTrim SI Designs, an AI venture positioned as India's indigenous AI model, which debuted in April 2023 in Bengaluru. The venture kicked off with Krishnamurthy Venugopala Tenneti on board, who's a part of ANI Technologies, the parent company of Ola Cabs. It offers GPU as a service on its AI infrastructure, giving businesses and developers the tools to improve their models. Additionally, CrewTrim AI has recently released standalone mobile apps for its AI assistant, similar to OpenAI's ChatGPT and Microsoft's Copilot. That being said, moving between cloud services within a week is a Herculean task. The transition typically takes several months, sometimes even up to a year. Plus, according to a detailed thread by an ex-user, I'll link the post in the show notes as well, it seems Ola has been relying on Amazon Web Services for its cloud needs. So while Aggarwal framed his actions as a move to preserve India's cultural identity and prevent quote-unquote cultural subsumption by Western tech monopolies, could it perhaps be a strategic marketing tactic for promoting CrewTrim's cloud services? For our second segment, we are going to bring you deep dives on stories from the world of technology, business, policy, and anything that leaves you with food for thought. India and Iran are poised to take a huge step forward in the relationship as India inks a 10-year management deal for Chabahar port. It's a bit of a flex for India really, but let me break it down for you. So this is going to be the first time that India manages a port overseas. The Ministry of External Affairs has also approved a proposal by India Ports Global to take over operations at Myanmar's Setwe port, which might get finalized at some point. But compare this to the fact that China is managing a global network of very strategically positioned ports and terminals in nearly 50 countries, including the Gwadar port in the Balochistan province of Pakistan, which is a crucial part of the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor or the CPEC project. China put a lot of investment into it because what Gwadar does for it is that it lowers transportation costs and gives the country an alternative shipping route to the Malacca Strait for accessing Europe, Africa, and Middle East. But most importantly, it also serves a military purpose for China. This naval presence threatens India because China doesn't just have Gwadar for itself, it has strategically encircled India through its access to ports in Sri Lanka, Myanmar, and Bangladesh as well. But why am I talking so much about China and Pakistan? Well, that's because India views Chabahar as a countermeasure to Gwadar and China. So if you look at the geographic positioning of Chabahar, it's just 92 nautical miles away from Gwadar port, which has been cut off from India because of its hostile ties with Pakistan. But the Iranian port situated in the Gulf of Oman opens up a route to Afghanistan and Central Asia for Indian freight bypassing Pakistan. And improved connectivity with Afghanistan also presents an opportunity for India to reduce Pakistani influence in the country. Further, there is also a proposal to integrate Chabahar with the International North-South Transport Corridor, or INSTC, which is a key transit system that connects ship, rail, and road routes for moving cargo between India, Iran, Azerbaijan, Russia, Central Asia, and Europe. This will help both India and Iran reduce its dependence on the Suez Canal for trade with Europe. Plus, only recently we did see how the Red Sea crisis can choke India's trade. So it's kind of a win-win strategy for both India and Iran. But anyway, this geopolitical advantage combined with China's growing dominance is likely to have motivated India to show interest in the Chabahar project since 2002. In 2016, the country had also signed an $8 billion deal with Iran for development for Chabahar port and industries in Chabahar Special Economic Zone. The first consignment of wheat was in fact sent to Afghanistan through this port just the next year. But there are two main terminals at Chabahar, Shahid Beheshti and Shahid Kalantari. And so far, the delay only allowed India to operate at the former, and this pact was subject to annual renewals. But this might get scrapped as India and Iran are ready to take a giant stride and sign a pact that will be valid for a decade. So far, so good, but there are some major thorns in India's path. The worry is that although India is expecting a lot from this port, these expectations themselves might be overstated. Firstly, as a Mint report points out, there are a lot of ongoing geopolitical tensions in Iran because of its clashes with Israel and alleged links with Yemen's Houthi rebels. This will obviously doesn't help India. Plus, the second issue is that of US sanctions on Iran. Although Chabahar has been exempted from these sanctions, the trade blockades did slow down the pace of the port's development. And that's a bit of a red flag. Another big concern is that even China is trying to woo Iran. As an article on the Observer Research Foundation argues, China's ties with Iran have played a major role in reducing the impact of sanctions imposed on Iran. Some foreign policy experts are even saying that there's a growing nexus between Russia, Iran, and China to reduce US dominance. Although China is obviously interested in Chabahar. It didn't make a direct move yet, but in 2021, Iran and China signed a 25-year comprehensive cooperation deal which includes $400 billion worth of Chinese investments in Iran's economy in exchange for a steady supply of discounted oil and cooperation with China's Belt and Road Initiative. So it's possible that China may slowly inch its way towards the port. So will Chabahar work out well for India? Well, your guess is as good as mine. If you like listening to The Signal Daily, please show us some support. Rate us and review us on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. We'd love to hear what you have to say about this podcast. So feel free to shoot an email at hello@thesignal.co. The episode was researched, written and produced by Shorbari and me, Manaswini, edited by Roshni Nair, mastered and mixed by Yash Hirve. You can catch this podcast every morning on Spotify, Apple, Amazon Prime Music, Google Podcasts, or wherever you listen to your podcasts. We are thesignal.co on Instagram, LinkedIn, and Twitter.